welcome to the sit down. I'm your man, Rod Love. Hey, Doc, I know what you did, but see, I'm improvising on
Hey,
that.
we got this new automation on the studio. So the mix up was in what was queued up. So y'all
Hey,
forgive
no,
me.
hey,
We'll have
Doc.
it fixed up.
I know how to make up for you, brother. But hey,
Okay.
everybody, welcome to the sit down. I'm your man, Rod Love. We have a special guest in the studio with us this evening. But before we get to that, Doc Polite, welcome to the show, brother. Co-host, Miss Sister Wynn. How are you doing?
I'm well, and yourself?
I'm doing great. But without any further ado, we have the honor and privilege to have Bishop Derek McCray in the studio with us this evening. Bishop, man, thank you. We appreciate you. But brother, you got some big things. You always got big things going on.
Oh man,
Yeah.
we're working hard, Rod. So it's just
Orlando's
always
number one community pastor.
Okay, there you go. There you go.
I like
There
that.
you go.
There you go.
Thank you, man. No, we're working real hard, man, trying to get a few things done. It's that season, that time of the year again. And so we're at Season's Blessings.
How long have you been doing Season's Blessing?
We've been doing Season's Blessings 16 years.
Wow.
Wow.
So, I'm going to take it back 15 years. The church started out 15 years ago. The first year was just our church members doing something. It was 22 of us as members. And we wanted to bless 300 families the first year for Christmas. And then every year it kept growing. So the second year of the church is when it became Season's Blessing.
Wow.
Before that was just, my wife was working at Jones High School, and she was a guidance counselor there. And I went to the school and said, I need give me 300 families that are really, really struggling, that we can help make a difference for Christmas. And we loaded up probably about almost 25 cars.
Wow.
Wow.
And we went door to door that year giving out gifts and money. Our church didn't even have a lot of money. We was giving gift cards for my own Christmas stash, but we was giving out gift cards and gifts to the families. We would make sure every family at Jones High School had an opportunity to benefit that year for Christmas.
I love, and I know we're going to talk about Season Blessing, but I love hearing your wife talk about how you and her navigated sacrifice as you were building your church.
Yeah.
And to me, man, that is one of the most humbling things. But to hear your wife tell that, as a matter of fact, Greg and I was on a Zoom about a month ago with, oh man, this woman's organization. It's national.
Tallahassee, yeah.
Yeah. And I started talking about this guy that I know whose name is Bishop Derek McCray, and how this guy is just doing everything. And lo and behold, your wife was on the
Yeah. She's a part of that organization. So they're doing a lot of, I forgot the name. It's a real hard name to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a part of the organization, and she has been definitely a partner with me throughout the whole process. Man, when people think about church, they think about, it's an unlimited supply of funds.
Right.
They think that God just divinely just drops all this bucket of money on the church, and they don't understand that, man. I think it was 90% of the pastors who are in office or have a church now experience some seasons of poverty. Most did not come into a grand situation.
Man.
And for years, man, even when the church started giving me money, my salary I was receiving, I was giving back through tithe and offerings. And tithe is 10%, but offerings is the other part. So when we would have a shortage of Season's Blessings, I can't stand in front of a church and say, I need everybody to give $1,000. I don't give $1,000.
Man.
That's hypocritical. So I had to be what I wanted them to become.
Man. But you know what? Here's what I want to say, because I know you are the man on the move, and we have you to about 6:20, 6:25. But I want to go ahead and start batting straight out of the gate, man, that Ms. Wynn,
Yes.
Florida Economic Consortium,
Yes.
we are going to support Season's Blessings.
Yes.
And so that's number one. But then also from a Let's Talk Nation perspective, and my cohort, Attorney Greg Jackson, not here yet, but we are also going to support it from that vantage point. But what everybody wants to know is, where is it going to be at? What can they be in tune for? But also responsible fatherhood, which I appreciate. ECC and FEC are partnering and doing some great work. Marlon, man, you got some. Marlon and what's his name? Tavarius. Hey, man, you got a team.
We got a lot of great things happening, man. When you're community driven, you find places to do things in the community. So we were having a discussion the other day about, me and my wife was talking about just individuals and where we're putting our efforts. The African American community does not have a problem in showing up where they're interested.
Yeah.
Right.
We got a problem not showing up places. And the reason why we don't show up is because we don't have an interest.
Relevance.
Unfortunately, the places that sometimes we lack interest are places that we need the strongest
Yeah.
investment.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
PTA meetings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to
Yeah.
be in those
You're right.
things,
You're right.
when it comes to financial literacy courses and stuff, we need to be, when it comes to insurance, we need to be sitting in those seminars to learn these things so that we can now forfeit sometimes us for now, for the generation after.
You're right.
To do
You're
that.
right.
How-
You're
We
right.
don't have enough forfeiting
now-
behavior in our community.
Now, Bishop, I'm hearing you say that, but how do we begin to get our community to turn toward those things and realize how critical they are? Because for some reason, it seems like it doesn't catch in our communities.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Great question, Vince. I think that we have to, in order for us to turn, we got to get younger. So I think we're trying to educate elders. We really got to start implementing programs. Some of the youth programs is targeted at 6th grade and up. Why? Because we feel like it's easier for them to catch on. The truth is, dumb down the program, go down to 3rd grade. Let's start there, so that by the time they hit 6th grade, they have an appetite of expectation to look.
But you know, go ahead, Ms. Quinlan.
And I want to chime in on that starting low, because working with Ms. Anderson with financial literacy, some of the kids cannot recognize coins. And these are sometimes your 4th and 5th graders. And her motto is always start young, and then you build that foundation. So when they get in that grade, they know what those coins are and the values of those coins.
Yes.
So I
Well, Dr.
definitely
Nelson,
agree.
Dr. Nelson, who's a researcher, he often talks about 3rd grade and the research that goes along with 3rd grade, and how prisons, there's a determination based upon how many prisons are built based on the failures that take place at the 3rd grade level.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that I worked in youth pastoring for 12 years. So 6 years unemployed, volunteer, 6 years full employment at Macedonia. And in both departments, you find that all of the interest is driven to middle school. But by the time we get to middle school, they're shaped.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And we have to be almost willing to do an 80-20 investment.
Gotcha.
80% into 3rd, 2nd, 1st grade. 20% scatter, because some will catch it at 6th grade going forward. But a lot of them are already shaped their mentalities. They already have a certain type of behavior patterns that sometimes we can't curb.
Correct.
And we got to maybe lose some of what we think we can miraculously do a divine healing in, and move down to, well, we know we can shape this mind, and we grow out of it that way.
Right.
Bishop, I know we're here and we said we were going to talk about season blessings, but you know what? And I love you, brother. You know I love you. You're a very studied brother. When I say studied, there's not a topic that I've been in the forum that you can't get your, the times that I hear you're quiet, I'm smart enough to know. I'm smart enough to know.
You don't know what he's talking about.
But I'm listening to you. And you're navigating, I mean, let's start early, 3rd grade. I've been to your church multiple times, and you have a diversity of, you got a young generation, and you got what I would call the wise generation. And seasoned.
That's Vince.
Hey, listen,
Just had a
listen. Y'all don't know my peers. They ain't seasoned. Not the right
Just
way.
had a birthday. What was your birthday? Yesterday?
No, Saturday, 63.
Saturday.
Happy birthday to you, man. Happy birthday. Oh,
63.
But
I know I don't look it, but
You know, you look great, man. You really do.
yeah,
You look great.
thank you.
Keep drinking the water.
You look almost as good as me.
Yeah, thank you. I
Appreciate you.
appreciate that.
But
Now,
no,
I got a
think
question.
that we really got to get younger with it. We got to make the investments younger,
Yes.
and we have to get
agree.
out of being so into the immediate results.
Yeah.
Like we got a whole community of people who are dying, and their generations after them don't come up
Yeah.
because we're not into immediate. We're so into immediate results. Just this past Saturday, I came back in town. I'm in school again up in Virginia. I came back in town, and when I was in town this weekend, I had a financial analyst to fly in to talk to me about things, and all we talked about was diverted income. diverted income, diverted income. So I may be able to enjoy some of this money
Yeah.
when I get, in 20 more years,
Right.
if I'm still here. I may be able to. But what will be in place is my 3 kids will enjoy
Oh, got you.
Correct.
Got you.
this money.
Mm.
And if we ever want to get into black wealth, somebody got to take the
Take
sacrifice.
Right.
Yep.
Like, we're not going to get into black
Right.
wealth and everybody's spending their wealth, eating their
Right.
wealth,
Mhm.
shopping their wealth,
Mhm.
traveling their wealth.
Yes.
Like, you'll be surprised what we can do, because insurance policies and all these things, it's not a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a mental sacrifice.
Got you.
Yeah.
So Bishop, here's something I got to ask you, because I've seen you do it. How, on a bigger picture, do we get like minds? And when I say like minds, we don't always have to agree, but like minds in the room to be able to listen to a singular topic, just as diverted income, sacrifice, third grade, so that we don't have somebody that is saying, hey, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. That's one of the biggest problems that I see. We get into a room and we're coming there to talk about this,
One thing.
yeah. But then we start talking about so many other things that we can't focus.
I think that we know the conversation before we get into the room. And meaning, if I invite 15 people, I know 15 interests.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So just because you're great at this don't mean that you need to be in this conversation.
You're right.
And I think we have to look into also who can be quiet. I mean, you've sat in a lot of rooms. Like you said, Simone, I'm just sitting there. I'm not trying to push a new agenda. I'm sitting there in that room because I'm absorbing. I want to find out what can I gain from this. Or when I see the place that I can have commentary towards, that's when I talk. But those characters show themselves way before we get into those conference rooms.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Here's something, and I'd be remiss, and this is not something that we were going to talk about, but where your church is located off of Hawassi, in the heart of Pine Hills,
Pine Hills.
I look at that, and I'm not, because there's other organizations in that community, but when I look at that, I look at the bedrock of, man, Orange County only has so many community centers, so many neighborhood centers.
Right.
You have the city of Orlando, that's a rock throw
Right.
from, and I'm sitting back saying, from an innovation standpoint, how do you leverage working with Orange County and the city of Orlando to say, I have a physical location here. You got all kind of needs, housing needs,
Right.
Assistance here, assistance there. Have you had any discussion or talks about entering into any kind of agreement with the city and the county so that that physical plant that you have there, that beautiful physical plant, that it can be accessed by county residents, city residents, and your church is already doing some great work. But how do you sit down and have that conversation to say, I'm here, let's park?
One of the things, again, I think this goes into the same thing we kind of tread down the path of right now. You have to establish relationships, and sometimes you can't cash in on what you establish. So you have to be married to the process. When we think about the city, we're seeing right now a lot of money is going into Pine Hills, and we're seeing right now that they're putting a lot of money into Silver Star Road.
Yes. Yes.
That didn't happen
Revamp.
2 years ago.
You're right.
You
You're
know,
right.
Right.
so these monies have been set up going back to, we talking about Crowdy days and all. So this has been passed down. We're now seeing it materialize. I'm mindful that I'm not going to pastor this church forever, right? So I don't even want to try to be. I'm not going to be hip enough to still fit in another few years. But what I am going to do is I am fostering relationships. Right now, I'm in the process of inking deals.
Okay.
That will maybe the next pastor will look like he's the wonder of the world.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So there's a lot of work even at the 2425 North Hawassi Road campus right now going on. And a lot of it is not above ground. I think our community is so interested in the sprout of the root that we don't dig deep enough.
See, I understand exactly what you're saying.
And we got to reverse this because we keep having blowover situations. So they're great for that guy, but the next guy that comes along, it blows over. It doesn't work anymore. And we got to get invested into, like, hey, we want palm trees.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we want something that's going to last for a while, that can take a
Right.
storm and still stand. And so what I'm working to do now is foster relationships. And I see you out there all the time also making relationships. And I'm making relationships on both sides of the aisles, all three sides of the aisles. Most churches now are 1, 2, 3 anyway. So it's
Yep.
3 sides of the
Yeah.
aisle.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm trying to make relationships all over that, off of issues, not people. And The whole purpose of it is to move the community forward. That's all I care about. I don't care about who's in a seat. I just care about what can the people benefit from it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to be the sacrificial person. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go to the cross.
Right.
We already have one that did that. But I will be
Amen.
a sacrifice out in public, and I may not get the credit if you want to call it
Right.
that, but I really don't care about no credit.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
Right.
I'm
Right.
really into. I want to be generational, and I'm already thinking. The Bible says that a wise man leaves an inheritance for his children's children. When you break that down, it means there's 3 generations of wealth in each and every one of us.
Mm.
3 generations of wealth in us, which means that Rod takes care of his daughters.
Mhm.
Rod takes care of his daughter's kids.
Mhm.
Rod takes care of Rod.
Mhm.
3 generations to be empowered
I like
by
that.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And so that means that some things Rod won't see that 2 generations
Right.
down.
Yeah, yeah, you're right, you're right.
And that when our community, meaning that when the Black community, African Americans, our Haitian our brothers and sisters, our Jamaican brothers and sisters, our Trinidadians, all those West Indians, when they come to that mentality
Mhm.
that I may not get it all,
Right.
but 2 generations down is gonna have
It's
it.
gonna
And,
happen.
hey,
Ooh, I
for those
like
of you
that.
who are watching the
I
sit
like
down, let me translate
Yeah.
because you just said something
Yeah.
that I heard in other forums, and that is simply this. Everybody's familiar with MLK. Everybody's
Yes.
familiar with Malcolm X.
Right.
They made certain sacrifices knowing that they wouldn't benefit from the work that they put in.
Right.
And when I saw Marlon and what is it?
Tavares.
Tavares,
Mhm.
when they came and they represented you regarding the Responsible Fatherhood
Yes.
Initiative,
Yes.
what I saw was those 2 men standing on your shoulders.
Mhm.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah. And then they're making it for the next men to stand on
Yeah.
their shoulders.
Yes.
And so on and so forth. We got to get into this as our community, or we will always be back to square one.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And I'm tired of square one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely,
Mhm.
Tyler. Well, hey,
I like
Bishop,
that.
let me ask this question because
Mhm.
for those of you who are watching this, for those of you who are going to go back and replay this, I want to make sure that for those who want to support Season Blessings, get an opportunity. How is there an email address,
Yeah.
telephone number?
We got it all. So you can get to info@eccorlando.com. You can get all the information you need for Seasons Blessings at info@eccorlando.com. You can also call us at 407-601-6444. 407-601-6444. You can visit us at our websites. Matter of fact, everything that you can think of in the world is at ECC Orlando. So
Yeah, man.
ECC Orlando on social media, Facebook, Instagram. They tell me we on Twitter, everything.
Everything.
YouTube, ECC Orlando, or you can go to our website, www.eccorlando.com.
Hey, Doc. Hey, we see you, boy. We appreciate you, man. That was quick.
I love it, Doc.
Yeah.
Hey, Bishop, let me ask, what can people look forward to being in store for at Season Blessings? I mean, y'all do so much.
Yeah. So last year was a pivot for us a little bit with Season Blessings. We still did it. We did it on a different scale. And we've been looking for that new niche. You know, bicycles, gift cards, all great. Our ministry is looking to empower and we're looking to edify.
Okay.
So we're looking to build people up and have them to have a good time. So there's a strong mental health emphasis
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
put on Season Blessings this year for us as well. But we're going to do it at Carver Middle School this year.
Okay.
So we move it around every year. So we're going to be at Carver Middle School this year. This year we're doing free. I got it all written out. You know, they sent me my talking point.
Okay.
So it's a family focused event this year. All right.
Okay.
So free family style meal. We're going to make sure that everybody's sitting down. We're envisioning a big, huge meal with everybody, Italian style too. So
Wow.
Italian.
Okay,
all
okay,
Italian food.
okay.
So they're gonna be baked beans and hot dogs.
Okay.
So it's gonna be Italian style food we're gonna do. We're doing free toys still as well for our elementary students. We're doing gently used clothes. So we're asking for coats and shoes. If you have those,
Okay.
that you can also get those to the church as well. We're gonna do a gaming tournament this year.
Oh.
So a gaming tournament with cash gift cards to the first and the second place. We got a TikTok dance contest this year as well, with a cash prize going from there. We're doing free digital Christmas family photos. So they don't have to go pay for photos this year.
Man,
So we're going to give official Christmas family photos this year
that's all
for
right.
anybody.
Wow.
And we know that's a big thing now, especially in the African American community,
Yeah.
that people are going out and spend a lot of money to get these
Yep,
photos.
yep.
Bring your kids and whatever y'all going to wear together. We're doing those free this year. We got a family fun zone. with ornament decorating that we're doing, gingerbread houses that we're doing. We're doing blood pressure screens.
Okay.
And we're also doing Ask a Pharmacist. So we ask you to bring all that brown paper bag stuff. So bring all of your medications with you as we're going to be checking on that. And then we're also going to do this for our middle and high school students. We're going to bless quite a few of them with cash giveaways.
Wow.
And we're doing this for them to go shopping on their own with their own money at Walmart.
Middle and high school.
Middle and high schools. And we're going to take the students with us Sunday afternoon after church.
Wow.
We're going to transport them to the Walmart.
Okay.
We're intentionally taking the kids. Now, the highest kid will receive $500.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So the highest kids receive $500. We got 4 different levels. The lowest level is a kid is receiving a $100 gift card to Walmart.
Okay.
And we're going to do this. And so we're trying to.
It is season's blessing, man.
It is. So we're taking them shopping, and we're taking them because we want to make sure that, and we understand the needs of the house. We got other things in place for family needs, but we want to make sure that the kid actually gets to go to Walmart and enjoy Christmas by buying their own Christmas gifts.
Now,
So that's what we're
now, Pastor, you just, I'm sorry, Bishop, you
Oh,
just
you
gave
good.
all this information,
Mhm.
but you didn't give us a date or a time or anything.
It's going to be December the 21st.
Okay.
December 21st. The doors will open. Don't quote me if I'm wrong. The doors will open, I think, at 10:03 a.m.
Okay. Oh.
10:03 a.m. The doors will open at Carver Middle School.
Okay.
We're going to be all indoors.
Who are some of your partners?
Oh man! So some of my partners is the guy by the name of, you ever heard of Rod Love?
Oh, that name sounds so familiar.
Let's talk
Yeah.
Maybe your boss?
Hey, that's one of your small partners, but you always had them balling with that,
Yeah, man. One of our actual corporate sponsor this year is Florida Blue.
Oh, okay.
So
Tony Jenkins.
Tony Jenkins, man.
Hey,
Tony Jenkins.
shout out to Tony Jenkins.
Yeah.
Continue the great work that you're doing with Florida Blue. And Florida Blue also, I don't know how many years they've sponsored the Classic, the Florida Classic.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
did your school win this year?
Did they? Did they? Flesh and blood did not reveal this unto you.
Okay,
But
okay.
But no. So Florida Blue, Tony Jenkins has been an amazing partner.
Yes.
What they do in the community, man. And shout out to Florida Blue with this new medical plan that they have. It's getting ready to close up December 15th. But everybody who needs to get medical coverage, they got plans that's so affordable, man, that you will blow your mind. And some plans can equal out to $0 a month.
Wow.
So we need people to go to Florida Blue's website right now because open enrollment is taking place.
It's taking place right now, especially if you are an entrepreneur.
Okay.
I've been working with Tony and Florida Blue for a while on this project to make sure that we got funding for entrepreneurs, especially in our community, to be able to say that we are still covered. Because we know how high it can be when you're on your own plan.
You're right.
This plan is only offered. This plan is only offered in Central Florida.
Oh man,
That
come
would
on.
be my son.
The whole
He's
state of
on
Florida
his
can
lawn
get
service business.
Central Florida can get it.
Lawn
And it's gonna be a
service
great-
business. He needs that.
He can get insurance through this process.
I need that.
And we're trying to get everybody, especially our African American men.
Yes.
We need you covered medically, and so Florida Blue is doing so. But they're going to be there with us to partner with us. Orange County government, Commissioner Mike Scott, is partnering with us as well. Clerk of the Court, Tiffany Morris,
Okay. Okay.
she's partnered with us as well. Carver Middle School and Principal Sam Danner
And it's all
is
right.
partnering with us. So we got a list of people that is partnering. We still got space. We still got space if you want to partner with us.
So that information is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Hey, I can't shout out enough Tony Jenkins with Florida Blue, Tiffany Moore Russell, our clerk of the court. We have Commissioner Mike Scott with Orange County Government, and you got Orange County Public Schools, and not to mention Superintendent Vasquez, man.
Yes.
These partnerships are important.
Yes, it's definitely important, and we're able to do because our community leaders step up and help us.
Man,
You know, the church is just this. It's
Right.
really trying to foster relationships, build communities, that everybody gets together so we all win together.
Right.
Bishop, you've been winning for a long time. My co-hosts, they don't look at the clock, but I'm gonna keep you on schedule.
I'm
Bishop,
looking
if
at
you
it.
would, leave us with some words of wisdom. You've told us about season blessing, but you're doing like Doc said earlier. Man, you're a hell of a community pastor. Don't strike me, y'all, but you're a hell of a bishop out there, man. And you know you got my support. What would you like to say in closing?
Listen, our community will always be better when we all just decide to come together. as we are a community, we will see tremendous leaps and bounds. So find somebody to partner with. You're not good enough to do it by yourself. None of us are. But in collaboration, we change communities and generations because it's all about who's coming next. I appreciate y'all, man, so much.
Hey, appreciate you. Hey, thank you. Hey, the sit down is going to take a quick commercial break. We got to get Bishop out of here, but Bishop, hey, man, thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Doc, if you would.
Joe's European Quality Auto Repair.
Mercedes-Benz, BMWs, Jaguars, and Porsche. Joe's Quality Auto Repair specializes in European cars. Joe's Quality Auto Repair is located at 1240 State Road, 436 in Altamont Springs. Stop paying a king's ransom for your foreign auto repairs. Call Joe's Quality Auto Repair, mention Let's Talk Nation, and he'll beat certified dealership repair quotes by 30%. Call Joe's Quality Auto Repair at 407-409-6040. Again, 407-409-6040 for the best affordable and guaranteed European auto repairs.
Hey, welcome back to the sit down. Hey, if you all did not get a chance to hear Bishop Derek McCray of ECC, Experienced Christian Church, the guy is just phenomenal. And you know what? I'm not going to talk about him myself. What you think, Miss Wynn?
Oh, amazing. Very knowledgeable. A community guy.
Hey, like Doc said,
Bring the community together. It's not about him by himself. He got the whole village, which is that community trying to bring together.
You're right. Doc often opens up and asks Bishop, when are you running for office? But, you know, ever since I've known Bishop has said he has no desire, but you talking about somebody that's on point when it comes to the issues, man. I mean, but he's well
But see, I make that remark because number one, you can spot the competency in the man.
Yes.
Okay, as well as a leadership and a servant's heart, and we don't have that in Central Florida. A lot of people are I hate to be the one that pee on people's head and tell them it's rain, but I'm like this. I like solving problems, so I don't sugarcoat stuff. I don't like to sugarcoat a problem and say, well, everything's going to be all right. No, it's not. Until our community recognize that and we address our problems like real adults, say this is a problem. How do we fix it? We can't continue to sweep stuff under the rug. This is why 60 years after civil rights, we haven't moved the needle forward because we're not willing to do the hard work. See, people like Bishop are doing the hard work, but others come behind him and undo that work, or they do something that's detrimental to the work that they're doing.
And Doc, here's what I'm gonna say, because we all, I mean, Doc and I, sometimes we got to be tempered because Doc and I, we straight shooters, but everybody has their own style. And I love Bishop's style. I mean, Doc and I and you, Miss Wynn, we know a number of pastors, and everybody got their own style, and that's not saying that they're not effective.
Correct.
We happen to have had the honor and privilege of having Bishop Derek McCray in the studio with us, and man, the brother, he's innovative. As Doc is saying, he is a community pastor, and he's out there and he's on top of it.
But see, now you just said something key. You said that they're effective, but how do you measure effectiveness?
Say that again, Doc.
I say, how do you measure effectiveness? Think about it.
You got to measure it, though. I see where you're going, Doc.
Yeah, because you can look at Bishop's body of work and you see results as a byproduct of his effectiveness. When you look at a lot of these other churches, what have they changed in the community? See, the change is the proof. I don't care what your mouth says. See, that's what a lot of people don't understand. You can sit up there, look. I almost said something, but listen. A lot of people will come to you and say, "I'm making this change," but where's the evidence? Where? How can I measure? You know what we talk about: grades, behavior, and attendance. What? Why? Because they're measurable.
See, and Doc, again, and I know where you're going, and we all have relationships. I mean, and Doc, I know you do, and Miss Wynn, my father-in-law is a pastor as well. Everybody has their different style, and everybody measures their effectiveness differently. And so I'm not diminishing.
But you can't measure your effectiveness because you won't ever see yourself as needing to change. You can't determine if you're effective. The results.
Well, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can.
Well,
And
you can say that you are.
But
You
but,
can say
the
that
best
you're
way,
effective.
Doc, you know the best way to measure your effectiveness is that you have to set some benchmarks. You got to
Right.
know where you're starting from
Right.
in order to determine whether or not
Right.
you're making any headway. And so,
But
Doc,
in
I don't
that
disagree
arena,
with you.
in that arena, though, your effectiveness is measured by the outcomes based on how it impacts others. You understand
Well,
what I'm
that's
saying?
well,
And-
because
and so
I was just about to call you out on, and when I say call you out in love, brotherly love. But
Uh-huh.
when we talk about effectiveness and how you measure it, when Bishop was sitting up here and he started talking about third grade,
Yes.
it is so
Right.
significant
Significant,
that
yeah.
you reach kids early.
Early.
And so that's telling me Bishop has studied
Right.
and he understands the
Right.
importance
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
attacking it that early. Now, somebody else might see something else. I mean, mental health
And something else.
critical.
Critical.
And something
Yeah.
else. He's talked to professionals. That's not his discipline. He's surrounding himself with the body of knowledge and those who have knowledge of functioning in those arenas and said and asked them questions. See, like he said, you know how to be quiet. Remember, I told you, I know how to go in a room and shut up. I will do it in a minute. When I get into a room and it's a powerful room and those people are talking about things I know nothing of, I will shut my mouth. Doc like to talk, but Doc know how to listen. And this is why I have such a broad knowledge of things, because I know how to shut up and listen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
we
but
don't
you know
do
what?
that.
We were definitely blessed to have Bishop in the studio.
Yes.
And
Yes,
you know,
definitely.
some of the things that he recognizes, and I don't know if I know our audience heard, and I don't know how many people actually was listening, but when he started talking about some of the things that are taking place where his new church is off of Hawassi, some of those things were put into action 10, 12 years ago that's finally coming to fruition. And so he was talking about the work, the groundwork that he's putting in now, and that as it comes to fruition, he may very well not be the person standing there publicly. It may be who he determines is going to be his successor.
And
Yep.
it's almost like he said with the generational wealth,
Yeah,
with the three generations.
3 generations.
I'm like, okay, you're right. You're right, because some of us right now, we don't think about that next generation when they're out there making their monies or doing whatever. They don't think about leaving it to their kids. You know, they're trying to spend as much as they can right now.
Right now, yeah,
What about your future?
you're right. Hey, Doc, you know that old saying, Ms. Wynn, about the cliche that knowledge is power?
Yes.
Well, it certainly is.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I think a lot of these young NFL players, a lot of these young basketball players that come into the league and making all this money and come from a family that don't have the money, and the way they just blow through it. I always say they need to take a financial literacy class.
Well,
Everybody
the,
needs
the,
it. Everybody needs it.
the NFL actually has that mandated. The NFL Players Association
They-
does
everybody.
take the rookies now and make them
Yes.
go through a financial literacy and a financial planning
Yes,
program their first year.
they
So,
do.
uh,
They
but
really do.
but again, change behavior is evidence of change. Okay, when you take a lot of these guys who've never had that kind of money, now they're the alpha dog in their clique back home. and they go around and their friends, oh, we can go in and buy the club, buy the club and all of this kind of stuff. I watched a very interesting interview with Mike Epps, and Mike Epps was talking about as long as he was willing to do cocaine and hang out in the hood and stuff, with his boys he grew up with, they was happy. But the minute he said, I need to do something different, now they hate it. And see, and that's what, honestly, that's what a lot of them face. They face that ostracization from their peer group that they grew up with.
Right.
And people will say, oh, you act brand new now that you got some money. Y'all know the backstories in our community. And we done heard it, ain't we, Rod?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
And that is something that we have to be cognizant of, with young people. But getting back to Bishop, let me tell you, I respect him tremendously, because ever since I've known him, I've watched him consistently deliver on his word. He doesn't mealy mouth things in the community, and he doesn't go over one, in one door and say one thing and then go to the next door and say a different thing.
Yeah.
And that's what you have. And that's leadership. That's leadership. Leadership
right.
is willing to stand up for the values and outcomes that they believe in. They know how to compromise, but they also know that here's the foundation. Here is my core value that is going to help me to be a leader in this community.
Doc, leadership, but also, and here's something, Doc, you and I talk about this all the time. Bishop is also that same guy that will call you and say, hey man, let's go grab a bite to eat.
Yeah.
Go somewhere where it's not garnering attention, and he'll pay for your food, and at the same time tell you, hey man, you can get mad at me now, but I'm gonna be real with you, and I'm gonna tell you something you're doing I don't think is in your best interest.
Now that's what you call a true friend.
That's a friend.
But see that that's being an adult as well. We don't have enough accountability to each other. We all talk about the community, but the moment we sit down and the community tries to mentor you and correct you, a lot of people get in their feelings about it.
Yeah.
If Rod called me up and say, listen, Rod has called me up and say, Doc, don't say a certain thing. I don't get mad and I told him, I won't say it on your behalf because I know that impacts you.
Yeah.
But the other thing too that Doc and I have this conversation about is, simply put, and Miss Wynn, we have these conversations too. The best advice I would give anybody that's watching the show, young or old, is to have somebody or somebody's that before you do a knee jerk, before you act upon something, man, talk to somebody who you believe has your interests at heart.
It's called having an accountability partner or group. See, we can all go out here and go buck wild and say and do what we want to, but are we effective in doing that?
Effective, and at the same time, I don't know if people heard this terminology. Once that bell is rung,
you can't unring
it. Hey, Doc, did I say that right?
Yep. Yeah, you got it 100%.
Yeah, and Doc and I joke about, he'll call me 10:30 and start a conversation that he know is gonna go till 1 o'clock in the morning.
There you go.
But
listen, but tell the truth. Tell the truth, Rod. Here's the thing, though, Miss Wynn.
Yeah.
I pose questions that make him think beyond that frame, the initial frame. Okay, that's how we get on them long conversations.
Doc will go directly. Some people ease into playing the devil's advocate. Doc don't ease into it. He goes straight to it.
Yeah, and you know what's wild? My wife has developed that same tactic. She don't sugarcoat stuff anymore. She used to worry about, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. And I told her, you're not responsible for people's emotional state. They are. We choose to be offended. We choose to get upset.
Right.
What about it? If somebody is standing there and they can point and say, this is the truth of this matter, and we get mad, why did we get mad? Why did that trigger us to have an anger response?
Yeah.
See, nobody can make you do anything. You react the way you choose to. And I had, the N word taught me that. The N word taught me that. Because see, you don't have to respond to the N word. It's not you.
And growing up, I mean, my mother, she wouldn't allow us to use that word. So that was taboo. And the older I got, when I went to college and some of my buddies would use it loosely,
Yeah.
I'd be looking at them like, because if we were to ever let that come out of our mouth, yeah, and we wouldn't see it coming. But you know what? All in all, I mean, we were sitting up here having a conversation about Bishop. Man, Bishop is a solid individual.
Yeah.
And I love what he's been doing. And I didn't realize he's been doing Seasoned Blessings for 16 years in some form or fashion. But then the other things that you get out of it, we would have never known that Florida Blue is doing what it's doing, that has a focus on healthcare benefits, specifically also for entrepreneurs.
And let me say this. I want to add this one thing before we go. We got 4 minutes. See, I'm watching the clock too. And I want to say this to the other ministries and organizations out there. The thing that you may not realize is Bishop has gotten these partnerships. See, he didn't get them partnerships right away. Right. He got those partnerships because of consistency.
And he earned them.
And people saw him consistently delivering. Yeah. See, and far too many people, they want to go downtown or go wherever and get their LLC and their nonprofit. Then they want everybody to run over to them. Do the work.
Hey, Doc, what's that word? Doc, what's that word you just used? Did you say consistency?
Consistency. Yeah. Consistency. Yeah. See, you can't jump on the bandwagon or out there in the community and throw out all these signs and stuff and say, "Here I am, come help me." Because everybody does that. Show that you can do the work. Show the results of your work.
You're right. But Doc, let me tell you what Sister Wynn and I use, and you're already familiar with it. We use a logic model. We use CPAS. People don't know what CPAS. I'm not going to get into it.
Yeah.
CPAS is a software that no matter what social service you're delivering, it measures what you're doing. Yep. And at the end of the day, after a month, after a week, after 6 months, after a year, we can slide you CPAS and say, that's your work. Yep. Do you need to improve upon your work? Are you doing enough? No. Are you doing, less than what you expected? And also, how does that compare to the big scheme? How much are you spending? How much of your time are you spending doing this? Yep. Is it yielding the benefits that you're looking for with serving others? And not only that, that's holding you accountable. Yeah, Doc said the word accountability.
Right. Because you're not all over the place. You know what deliverables you're looking for, and what will show that your methodology is effective. This is what empirical data is. It's saying that I set this model up, I did these particular steps, and the hypothesis was that I would get these results that will be measurable and relatable to the outcome that I wanted.
And Doc, here's a fastball for you real quick. What we're explaining sounds simple. Why is it so hard to achieve? And you got a minute, Doc, because I want to leave with Sister Wynn giving her 2 cents.
Because people don't follow the rules. People don't follow the rules. And Sister Wynn, I got to call you and tell you my adventure this Friday, because it had me livid. It had me livid. But it shows, and I was sharing it with Rod, far too often, especially, let's just take government. Government is a classic example in dysfunction. I don't care what level you go. because you always have people who make up stuff that ain't in the rule book. It's
Oh,
not in the
your
standard,
DMV.
standard operating
Hey,
procedure.
He'll tell you about his DMV. Hey, Doc,
Yeah.
we got about 60 seconds left.
Yeah, but I'll call
Hey,
you.
you're going to have
tell
to
you.
call her and tell about that. Mr. Wynn, what did you think about Bishop McCray in 30 seconds?
Excellent Bishop, community guy. I can't say enough of that. Community guy.
Hey, you know what? That's what I'm going to end on. All that Bishop McCray is doing, and Doc opened up the session by saying community pastor. I'm going to end on the session to say this guy, through his bloodline, is all about community. With that, everybody, I appreciate you tuning in to the Sit Down every Monday from 6 to 6:45. And tonight, we're actually going to be on time. Hey, tune in next week for the Sit Down with Doc Polite, Sister Wynn, and myself, Rod Love. We welcome to have you. Hey, y'all take care. Have a great rest of the week.